Hi paper crafters, this is Robin with Robin's Creative Cottage. It's almost Mother's Day and I know I need to get my card in the mail for my mom and my mother-in-law. And I've created a really fun card using the Heritage Cartridge. I'm going to use the sewing machine that's on page 43. I'm also going to use this ornate accent for the corner of my card. So let me go ahead and show you all my pieces and the sizes that I've cut them at. The pieces that I used to cut from my Cricut machine was this oval. This is 3.5 by 4.5, and this is the ornate corner that I'm going to use. This measures 2 inches wide, and then my sewing machine is 4 inches wide. And I just cut them out at just some ivory cardstock. The other pieces I'm going to use is this oval, which was cut using my Spellbinder's die. I've cut these 2 leaves using my Martha Stewart punch, and then one of the leaves I've just cut the bottom half off. And then this tiny flower was just used from another one of my Spellbinder's dies. So those are the pieces that I'm going to use on the outside of my card. The size of my card is 4.5 by 4.25, just a standard size card. And then this is the piece that I'm going to go ahead and put on the front. And this is just cut down just a 1/4 inch on each side. This is the paper pack that I used from the Simple Stories from Generations, and I just used some of the papers from there, which is really pretty because I wanted to give kind of a vintage feel to my card. To start, I'm going to go ahead and ink up all the edges of my paper using the Vintage Photo. I'm going to give some fun detail to my sewing machine, so I'm going to go ahead and just add a brad right here on my sewing machine. The next fun thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some embroidery thread, and this is going to be like it's my thread on my sewing machine. So to start off with, I'm going to use some of my mounting tape. I've got my mounting tape and I'm just going to start with that. I'm going to give my sewing machine a little bit of a lift off my page. So let me start off by putting my thread attached right underneath there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wind it around this little tiny piece that sticks up here. Even though I don't have a spool, this will be like it's my spool. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of my 2-way glue pen just to help that thread stick a little bit. So I'm just going to wind it around a few times here. Very carefully, not to bend that little piece that's sticking up. And then I'm just going to drag it across and put it around this little piece right here also. Kind of fragile working with this paper, but it gives it a fun little look. Okay, then I'm going to pull it down and just wind it around that brad that's there. And then I'm just going to let it hang from that point. I'm not going to worry about trying to thread that little tiny needle. I'm just going to let it hang. Okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and put a few more of my mounting tape on the back here so I can pop it up. I'm going to continue putting my card together. The stamp set that I'm going to use is called Happy Easter from my craft spot, but it does have a couple Mother's Day sayings on it, which is really cute, that I'm going to use. One of them is, the one I'm going to use is titled My Mother, My Friend. I'm going to use that on the outside of my card, and I'm just going to use my Tim Holtz vintage photo. And then I have my old Stampin' Up! Oval punch. Give that some ink as well. And then our card is almost finished. The last few things I'm going to add are my small flower and then my little leaves here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a brad in the center of my flower. Now that the brad is in my center of my flower, I'm just going to crumple up my flower toward the center, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And then open that up, and then take a little bit of my mounting tape, put it on the back of my flower. Now let's finish the inside of the card. This is the Happy Mother's Day image that I'm going to use from Kimberly's stamp set. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, today. Happy Mother's Day.